Go home, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, know you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Don't even roll my slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home.
Yo, what is going on, Longhorn Nation?
It's spooky season. It's spooky season.
Oh, that was actually really terrifying, Tim. I was so scared.
So scared.
That was almost the scariest Texas performance on Saturday.
Hey man, we're gonna get into it. That's why I put the hood on, man. Looking like a Sith Lord, dog.
Bro. Well, we'll get into that here in a little bit. Before we get started, of course, my name is Harish Nikala. I'm here with my guy, my best bud, my homie at Tim Wayne. How you doing today, man, Jim?
Yes, sir. Definitely my brother from another. Hey, I'm your boy Tim Wayne. We are here to talk all things Texas Longhorn. Man, we got a lot of news this week. This is absolutely crazy. This is one of the rare times where we get this like amount of news outside of some cheating scandals or something like that. But do we want to get right into it, or do we want to?
Let's do it.
Well, first, make sure you guys follow Fan Battle Sports at fanbattlesports.com for all your Fan Battle Sports news. You can find your Longhorns information. You can find us there. You can find my man in the Horseshoe Mob. If you're a fan of the AFC Fan Battles, AFC South in general, you can also find the AFC Fan Battle or AFC South Fan Battle podcast is there also as well. Also, make sure you hit us up on Twitter. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at LH Fan Battle. We're there. We talk trash. We have fun. We have a good time. So let's get right into it. Also, make sure that you follow us on YouTube at Longhorn Fan Battle as well, because that is very, very important. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. It takes nothing to hit that like button and to support us. So if you're a fan of the Longhorns, do that. If you're a fan of us, if you're the homie, hit us up, man. Like one of the like all the videos, you know. It's only 14 of them up. We moving on up slowly but surely. But yeah, make sure you do that.
I tell you what, if we can get to 100 YouTube subscribers, we'll do a small little Texas Longhorn giveaway.
Okay, I like that.
We'll do it. It's not gonna be anything big, right? We'll do something. We'll do something small. We'll have to come up with something, but we can get to 100 YouTube subscribers. We'll do a small little giveaway.
Okay, I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with that. But yeah, man, let's get let's get to the news. Mr. Patriot himself, the Harbaugh brothers, or one of the Harbaugh brothers, up in Michigan, running a dirty program. How you feel about that, Harish?
You know, I really like Jim Harbaugh, man. Why is it always the ones that are like they got to be the dirty ones?
Yeah.
So a couple of wild stories about this, right? And before we even get into what's going on at Michigan, right? The sign stealing and whatever the hell. Really, it's less about what's happening and more about the fact that Jim Harbaugh is a pathological liar. But did you know that when they were kids, Jim Harbaugh tried to drown John Harbaugh?
What?
Yeah, I heard the story yesterday. I was listening to Orange Bloods. And they were talking about the scandal, and they were like, there is a report. John Harbaugh told the story a long time ago, apparently on TV. He told the story and he laughs about it all the time now. But Jim Harbaugh tried to drown John Harbaugh when they were kids. The only reason why he stopped is because their mother walked out and basically said, hey, you need to cut that out.
What?
Yeah. So I heard that was a little wild story that I heard yesterday. And I was like, well, people think that Jim Harbaugh is basically a psycho at this point.
I mean, is he?
There's nothing that suggests that he isn't.
Listen, there have been some questionable things that he has said, and you mentioned them. There's been some questionable things that he said, you know, even when he was with San Francisco. You know, when he came on to Michigan, he had some questionable calls, questionable, like, you know, people just, I mean, and people don't really just go in and try to dissect what he says. He just says these like wild things, or these very very obscure things, right? Like to make you like really question like his internal clock, and like to make sure that he's all there. I mean, could he be a mad hatter, like a mad genius type situation?
He could be.
Yeah. The things that he's done on the football field, whether it's with the 49ers or with Michigan, you could say, yeah, he's somewhat of a genius because he develops and has these great offenses. So, so they've been linked to sign stealing, which is in the football world, that's a no-no. Okay, that's a big. That's like that's like sign stealing in baseball, right? We know why I don't rock with the Astros is because they steal signs, right? And they
bang trash cans.
They bang trash cans and they steal signs and they win World Series and they get found out about and nothing happens. Right. Well, this is a little bit different because this has been going on. This investigation has been going on a while, hasn't it?
So there's two different. No. This investigation just started. There's two different investigations. So this is what's wild. So I can break this down for us if we need to. So there's two different investigations that are going on with Michigan right now. Number one is just your basic, simple recruiting violations. Just mishandling of recruiting, blah blah blah. Right. That's actually not that big of a deal. But what made it a bigger deal than it actually was is that Jim Harbaugh lied, right? They asked him about it. They're like, "Hey, what'd you do?" You know, it could have been a slap on the wrist. It could have been over with, right?
Right.
He lied about it. That's the biggest thing, right? So that investigation still isn't technically over yet, right? They're still investigating that. They are basically right now at the point of Jim Harbaugh basically self-sanctioned himself. He, suspended himself for the 3 games, whatever. And I think this really started to come out when Michigan played Rutgers. And the Rutgers coach actually said there's something really – he didn't know what it was. He didn't really say what it was. He didn't say anything. He was like, there's something really wrong here. There's something going on. There's something weird. And he's like, this just doesn't make any sense. There's something, right?
Right.
And so the NCAA started looking into it, and there's this guy, I forgot his name off the top of my head, but there's this guy who Michigan has basically been paying for to go to. So basically the way Michigan is doing this is they're not like doing it actively in the game. They are sending somebody to teams. So basically they play Ohio State in a month, right? So they send this guy. There's analyst. I don't know if he's even on the staff or whatever, but they basically send him to Ohio State, Penn State last week, right?
Right.
To go look at what Ohio State is doing. He then comes back. He gives that to the head coaching staff at Michigan so that when they are in the game against Ohio State a month from now, the big game, they basically know what's happening.
Right. Which is a no-go because again, I understand for those who don't necessarily know, when you're playing any type of sport, if you can find out what they're doing while you're on the field, that's one thing. But to send somebody out to actively look and do research on certain calls, certain things, whatever the case may be, that's another thing, right? We don't want people basically ruining the game, right? So if you know that if a play caller holds up a green card and a white card, that it's a stretch to the right? Or if you holds up a white card and a green card and a certain formation, that it's a screen pass, right? Like you don't want that. Like you don't want that. Like we know. From a film perspective, yes, you do get to watch film. You do get to prepare. You get to watch film, kind of understand cadences, where things are going, formations, motions. You get that information from there, right? You don't want to get that information from somebody's iPhone. They sit up there, getting all the play calls. They're on the 50-yard line. You see Ohio State, they're on the 50-yard line. You see the play callers doing whatever. Like, come on, man, let's not do that. That's not cool.
Yeah,
that's not cool at all. It's bad for the game, right? College football is arguably one of the most exciting sports outside of maybe March Madness. Like, out, right?
It's really bad for the game. I mean, if you think about it, right? And the other thing we'll talk about real quick is Deion Sanders' comments behind this, because I like Coach Prime. I think he's great. I thought what he said about this is absolutely stupid. Dumb thing to say, man. Like, literally, and basically, Coach Prime is like, "Well, it doesn't matter if you know it; you still got to stop it." All right,
no, so that's true. It is very true.
It is true, but here's the thing, though, right? You take the athletes Michigan has. And they know you're telling me, Deion, Coach Prime, if your defense, if the opposing team knew every time that you were running stretch right on 3rd and 5, based on the fact that you pointed to your head, and you're telling me that's not an advantage. Like, yes, I get you have to stop it.
Right.
Obviously, no shit, right? I get that.
Right.
But the fact that they know that all they have to do is know that you're pointing to your head to know that you're running that play. Right. That's not an advantage.
Right. It is definitely an advantage.
Like I literally all I need to do, if I was willing to be really obvious, and look, the defense is making their adjustments too. If they know it's stretch right, they're gonna probably, move the entire front 7 to the right.
Right. They're going to shade
you're
to
the one
the right.
That's going to look stupid. Yeah, they're going to shade to the right, and then the corners
probably bring a safety down, probably bring a corner blitz.
Exactly.
Something along those lines.
It changes the entire integrity of the game. And I thought Dion's comments were absolutely flabbergasting.
Well, he's talking from you got to think about it. He's talking from a coach perspective, and he's also talking from a perspective because he played corner, which is one of the hardest positions to play in all of sports. So he's like, okay, so you're gonna run a slant, you're gonna run a post, you're gonna run a 9, you're gonna a fly, whatever. I still got to stop it. It don't matter if I know it. I got to stop it. So he's thinking from that mind frame until it happens to him. If it happens to him,
exactly,
it would be something completely different.
Listen,
so I get both. I get both on what he's saying.
Michigan blows out Colorado, right?
Right.
Let's just say all of a sudden Colorado is leading. They have the ball. And Michigan knows it's like 3rd and 5, right? Michigan knows it's going to be Shedeur Sanders to Travis Hunter, a little seam route, right? I'm just making this up, right?
Right.
They know it's coming, and they happen to move the corner in the right spot to get
the shade inside.
I know it's coming. Yeah. The guy tipped his hat. I know it's a seam route to 12.
Right.
You're telling me Deion Sanders wouldn't be pissed?
He would flip out.
So then why is he saying the complete opposite? Because I know you used to play the game, and I know you're thinking from a coach. Like, it's easy when it doesn't happen to you say, well, you got to stop it.
Right.
No. Deion's missing the picture. This is about the integrity of the game. It's about the integrity of the game at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's the big thing. Anyway, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah. So what do you think is going to happen before we close?
I think Jim Hart. So I actually just read something that said that the idea of a 2 to 3 year ban might happen.
Oh, ban, like the program ban, or he's being banned?
I think it's going to be him banned.
Oh,
talking of losing playoff eligibility for 2 to 3 years underway, and that would include this season. So they basically would be banned from the playoff. Hey, which helps Texas out, right? So I don't care.
Listen, I think about all of those guys, all those kids in that portal. If this does happen and it goes down the way it does,
listen, they're all transferring, bro. Jim is leaving. They're all transferring, and Michigan will be going back to being bad.
Right.
This is bad.
This is program changing. This could change the program for sure,
especially in an NIL era. The athletic department might get it's going to be really bad. Apparently, a decision's supposed to happen in the next week or 2. Oh. They are trying to get. So Penn State plays Michigan in 2 weeks.
Right.
I think it's either next week or 2 weeks. I think they're trying to get this resolved before the Penn State game because that has such huge implications.
Yeah, dude. If they
I think the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to send a message. Penn State, Michigan, Penn State is next week.
Oh my God.
No, it's in 2 weeks. They're off this week. They play Purdue next week, and then Penn State, Michigan is in 3 weeks. So they're trying to get this done quickly.
They're trying to get it done before. Ooh.
Because it's said that this guy, his name is Connor Stallions. They said that he's already been to a Penn State game this year. And he had tickets to go to Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State on Saturday. They were not claimed, obviously because of the scandal, but he had tickets to go to that game.
Right.
So he was going to do it again. So, but anyway, we'll keep everybody updated as that rolls along. But Tim, you want to go on to the next topic because we got much better things to talk about. We talk about what's happening in Texas over here because we are killing it on the recruiting show, by the way.
So let me build this up. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I remember specifically having a conversation with you. It was late. I think we were watching football or something like that, and you send me a text message, and you're like, "Hey, man, big time recruit that we were talking about. he's out on Texas. He's done. And I was just like, what? Like, what happened? He was like, I don't know, bro. He's thinking about going home or staying home. So I'm like, damn, I didn't think nothing else about it. I was upset at that moment, a couple hours. I'm like, damn, we had a really big opportunity to land a big time target. And then this morning, or no, even last week, we talked last week about it. Mr. Ryan Wingo. We talked about him last week. Very, 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 very scarce. We didn't spend much time on him. You mentioned it, and we talked about him announcing again. We both thought, hey, based on the information that you got, hey, this guy's going to Missouri, right?
Yep.
So then I get a text message yesterday morning. You said, hey, Ryan Wingo's coming to Texas. And I'm like, wait, what? How are you getting this information? So you say, you mentioned Jeff, Orange Bloods, how they do extensive research. They got all types of insiders and pretty reliable sources, by the way. So shout out to them because they have been a pillar of the Texas Longhorn community for quite a long time. But yeah, you hit me up. You're like, hey man, according to Jeff, Ryan Wingo's coming to Texas. Or no, what the wording was is that Missouri should be worried about Ryan Wingo.
Correct.
So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So you were like, hey, 4:00, on 247, he's gonna make his announcement. So me and you both tune in. We have been talking about it for majority of the day, and sure enough, Ryan Wingo commits 5-star out of St. Louis, Missouri, out of St. Louis High School, St. Louis University. Wide receiver, 6'2", 205 pounds, has pro comparisons. I've heard of Jamar Chase. I've heard of Justin Justin Jefferson. I've also heard a lot of people compare him to AJ Brown based on like his strength.
Yeah,
because he's 205, so he's a bigger receiver. Yeah, we normally have a big guy on the field. We're known for having those big guys. So Roy Williams, Lima Swede. I can't think of what the other guy is. But yeah, we've had some in the past. We've had a big receiver. So this is a really good commit. This is our third commit for this year. So there's a lot of commotion behind this, right? So, and I don't know, I would love to hear what you heard, but I was hearing that this was more of an NIL situation.
Oh yeah, it's 100% an NIL situation.
An NIL situation and an offensive perspective situation. So
yeah, so from what I've been reading, what I've been hearing, it's less offensive perspective because if you look at this offense this year, right, and how misused it's been, the offensive situation is more the reason why people were thinking he was going back to Missouri, right?
Right.
And really the big thing is, the lack of use of Jonte Cook, which Shark called out, and then still even this week still has not used Jonte Cook. I'll be very interested to see if we get more Jonte Cook this week because Maalik Murphy has been working a lot with Jonte.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's some chemistry there. I'm very curious, and we'll talk about this later. That's probably the thing I'm most curious about, how Jonte Cook is now going to be inserted into the offense.
Right.
I don't know what's changed in the last 48 hours of the whole situation of him needing to him changing his mind back to Texas. Mm-hmm. But I'll say a couple things. Number one, it's great for the University of Texas today. They needed a guy like
a big guy,
Ryan Wingo, right?
And he can
not because of his size, but just because of his pure skill set.
Right.
Great route runner, can catch anything, can house anything, throw the deep ball, can catch the deep ball. He's got tremendous size. He's got a lot of good speed for his size as well.
Right.
But it's really going to come. One thing I found really interesting about his comments yesterday after he committed was quarterback play.
Right.
So now you start thinking Arch, right? It is now this really comes down to this comes down to now Maalik Murphy is basically getting his tryout now.
Right. Absolutely.
If things don't work out well with Maalik Murphy, I could see Sark going into next season already having idea of needing to prepare Arch Manning to start next year.
Right.
I think he'd throw it out that quickly. 4 games, right? Let's just say Maalik gets the next 4 games and he doesn't perform well.
Right.
Then I could see that happening. But hey, if Maalik does great, then hey, you've got Maalik Murphy next year and Arch can play in 2 years.
Yeah. So from what it's funny that you mentioned that. You did say that one of the comments that stuck out was that he said that Texas has the quarterbacks. So the way I look at it is that
it's like we lost Tim. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, we'll go back to it. So yeah, I think it's very, very interesting that that those were the comments that Maalik Murphy chose. That Ryan Wingo chose when he committed yesterday. Listen, we don't know. This is not by any means is this closed out, right? We've still got 6 weeks. Missouri's going to come back into the offensive for sure, right? We've got 6 weeks to really figure out what's going on here. Missouri's definitely going to come back and they're going to try to win this battle. But for now, Texas does have the commitment of Ryan Wingo, which is something they needed, especially with Xavier Worthy leaving. Jordan Whittington's probably going to leave. You probably think that AD Mitchell is gone as well. And then, of course, Jatavian Sanders, right? Jatavian is still up in the air from what I'm seeing, especially after his injury, but we don't really know. But even if Jatavian leaves, you still have Gunnar Helm, which, he's actually played really well. The one game, and obviously Oklahoma is the game that you think about. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this commitment moving forward. But for today, October 26, 2023. Also thought it was really surprising that Ryan Wingo, from what I've heard, it's been really surprising that Ryan Wingo, as Tim get back in here, I was just completing this. It's really surprising to see Ryan Wingo commit this early because initially we heard he wasn't committing until after the season.
Right, December.
Yeah, so very interesting. But I just finished telling everybody that we have to keep a close eye on this. By no means is this recruitment over. Right.
No.
Commitment.
Until
the LOI. Yeah, the next. Yeah,
the next 6 weeks are imperative. Go ahead.
Exactly. You're still basically you basically got the job offer out there, right? And the job offer has been signed. You got to go through orientation. You got to go through all that good stuff before he actually starts working, right? You pass the interview process. You got the job offer. That's what the commitment is, right? It's the job offer. You've got to go through background check. You got to go through all that good stuff, right? No commitment is in cement until a letter of intent is signed in either December or January. So, December or February, minimum 6 weeks that this goes on. But good day for Texas by far for now.
Oh, absolutely fantastic day for Texas. Again, I'm hoping, and we mentioned this earlier prior to the season starting. What I'm hoping is that this starts a trend, right? Okay, such and such, because right now it just seems like people are going to schools in groups, or hey, if X and X is going to Texas, then I want to go to Texas because we balled out together in AAU or 7-on-7, and so like I want to do the same thing. So I'm gonna hop on the bandwagon. I'm hoping that that's what that starts. Again, no word from Kobe Black. That's another recruit. There's another major recruit out of St. Louis. I forget his name. He's the number one defensive end in the country. They're also looking to try to get him, even though he committed, I believe he committed to LSU.
Oh, McKinley? Yeah.
Yeah, McKinley. There we go.
McKinley, yeah.
So McKinley
So,
has he's committed to LSU. Again, he
yeah.
committed early. Again, I don't know who's to say if LSU loses a couple games. Let's say they lose their bowl game. We don't know. That could be a situation where we may be able to flip. A lot of people are saying this is a really big flip. I don't necessarily, again, based on what you're saying, it does sound like it was after the situation with going to Missouri, because he was at 2 Missouri games earlier this year, back to back. He did come to a Texas game earlier in the year, but at the start of the season, right?
Yeah.
A major flip. Can't believe it happened. Good call. Again, let's hope that the chips continue to fall. Again, this is our third 5-star recruit that we've had this year. That's really, really good. Right now, we're sitting at 13. I would imagine with the others, we'll probably be in the top 5, top 7 coming up this coming year. So that's imperative, because a lot of I would say they've done research on the last 10 to 12 champions. And in order to have a championship caliber team, you would have needed to be in the top 5 or the top 3 2 consecutive years in order to get yourself in that championship level. So with the expansion of the playoff, the way Texas is going, hopefully we continue to move on, keep on moving, generate wins. Hopefully we'll be there in the end. So, all right, moving right along as we get to the breakdown of Texas versus Houston. Now, I will say this was a not a great game
At all.
Not a great game. Now, starting out, the game was great, fantastic, looked so good. You got so many people, blowing the game up. Oh, this is gonna be a blowout. This is gonna be a blowout. After that first quarter, definitely thought it was gonna be a blowout. Up 21 points. Texas waltzing around, looking real good, running the ball, throwing the ball, deep balls all over the place. And then the second quarter. From the second quarter on was a complete shit show. So to be fair, Quinn did have a decent game prior to him getting injured. He had 23-29 for 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. You had Donovan Smith, who again transferred from Texas Tech, coming into U of H. Again, they play very, very hard. I mentioned this last week. They don't really have blowouts. They play very, very hard. Donovan Smith was 32 of 46 for 378, 3 touchdowns and an interception.
That's crazy.
He looked fantastic. Now, from a football perspective, this game was not on the offense. This was more on the defense. Here's why. I don't necessarily know what is going on. I don't know what PK's got going on with the defense. But to me, it seemed to be a lot of confusion with the defensive backs last week. A lot of miscommunication, a lot of poor angles, lots of just not being in the right spot. So last week, and I noticed this, the Longhorns were running. They were spread. Of course, Houston's running spread offense. So they got 4 or 5 receivers on the field, 4 wide receiver sets, 3 trips, right, trips left. All your receiving combinations that you can think of. By the way, whoever the offensive coordinator is, he ran a perfect game almost. Like outside of that interception being thrown, that would have been a perfect game if they were winning from an offensive perspective.
Yeah.
The defensive backs looked super, super confused from a standpoint of they were running this like zone to man type of coverage, I don't necessarily know. I've seen it before, but I haven't seen. Again, when you're confused and it's not ran right and it's not ran correctly, things look weird. Things are out of place. You have people missing assignments, people missing where they're supposed to be, and honestly, all Donovan Smith had to do was just to take what they were giving to him. Okay,
Right.
you don't want to get big deep. All right, I'm just gonna hit you underneath. I'm gonna hit you underneath. I'm gonna run a slant. I'm gonna hit you underneath, and it's going for 7-8 yards a clip. It was so frustrating because it's like these corners are playing 12 yards off the receiver.
It's the same thing we saw. It's the same thing we saw in the Oklahoma game.
Right.
So
So you're
basically 2 weeks and nothing has changed.
nothing,
And
not from a
is it a
defensively.
trust? Is it a trust thing with these defensive backs? Because a lot of the guys that are on the field are young.
Yeah, they're young. They're not as fast as these receivers, and that's fine. You don't need a burner, but you don't need to be 12 yards off the ball either, because what they're doing and what these offenses are doing, again, they're just taking what you're giving. So if you want to give me 12 yards, that gives me enough time to get the ball out. If I run a 5-yard hitch, that's 5 yards. If I got somebody that can really get that ball there, which Donovan Smith can do it, and he can run, it takes absolutely nothing. Now, again, they did have the pressure. Texas did have the pressure on defense, but the defense can only do so much. And the defense got to a point to where, or the defensive line can only do so much. That defensive line began to get tired. They began to run multiple plays. They began to basically do kind of the same thing that Oklahoma done, which is basically like, hey, we're going to run up tempo. We're not going to allow you to make the subs. We're going to dink and dunk you all the way up the field. And eventually those dink and dunks turned into big broken plays because of poor, poor angles. Not being able to tackle. I mean, if you're 12 yards off the ball and you have to run out to make the tackle on a wide receiver, after 3, 4 to 5 times that you've done that, you're going to be gassed. You're not going to take the proper angle. I don't care what anybody says. When you've been running around like that, you don't get the proper time to adjust, or you don't get the time to get your wind. You're not going to take the proper angles. That just doesn't happen. Like we're talking about 18, 19-year-olds, right? We're not talking about pros. We're talking about like teenagers at this point, basically.
Right.
So yeah, like it was poor tackling because running up tempo, you're 12 yards off the ball. Now you have to run up and make the tackle. Now you got to hurry up. Now you got to reset. Now you got to readjust. Now you got to recommunicate. Like it just was more of the same. The stars of the show again was Jonathan Brooks and CJ Baxter coming in, running the ball down people's throat. They look absolutely great. CJ Baxter actually looked like he should be the starter based on one run. I know that sounds crazy, but he looked like a different person once he really got going on the field. And he had quite a bit of attempts as well. He had 6 carries for 42 yards. That's definitely up from what he had at Oklahoma. Jonathan Brooks, again, 20 carries, 100 yards, average 5 yards a carry. I think there was one point in time you were just like, dog, why don't they just run the damn ball and get out of there? I don't necessarily know why. It just didn't look good. Savion Reed, big time conversions. Again, 4th down conversions. Now, I don't necessarily know what the fake field goal was all about. I can't. Once that fake field goal happened, everything else went downhill. You gave them the hope that I talked about.
It took him in the halftime, right?
Right.
Oh no, it didn't. I don't. Again, this is the part I didn't see. So I saw clips of the fake field goal, right?
The fake field goal happened in the second quarter.
Scores after it happens.
Right.
After they score, halftime occurs, and then they come back in the first possession of the second half and score again.
Right.
Now, somewhere in all of that sequence, Quinn gets hurt.
So Quinn gets hurt 3rd quarter. And it's obvious, he goes in, he gets to a point to where He goes off to the sideline. They didn't really have a good. I think they went 3 and out after the fact that he got hit. Again, landed on his shoulder, and then the next thing you know, he's getting jogged off. He's running back to the tent.
Right.
So now Maalik Murphy comes in again, and at this point in time, I'm like sweating bullets, right? Because I'm like, I know this is they're not. This reminds me of Kansas State versus Texas. Colt McCoy gets knocked out of the game. They call him Cart McCoy. Next thing you know, Kansas State wins. It rains. It's a terrible day, and it's just like, ugh.
That was brutal.
Well,
that was the 2008 game, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I was at
2007.
the game.
Yeah.
I felt that's what I was feeling, and I felt like this was a situation where this was going to happen again. I was just hoping, like, hey, let's get back to running the ball and let's get out of here, right? Maalik Murphy comes in again. Maalik Murphy is a massive man, dog. Like, this guy, he looks. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Cam Newton.
Yeah, he's got this. Now he's so big. The one thing that I found interesting about Maalik Murphy is he comes off as this scrambling quarterback, but I don't think he is.
No,
he's
not.
a pocket passer.
He's a pocket passer
Who has the ability to run.
Right.
Who has Vince Young like ability to run, right? He's definitely a better runner than Quinn, right? But he's not like an option quarterback, if you will.
Right.
He's not Vince Young.
He's not Jalen Milroe. He's
correct.
Not.
He is not Jalen.
He's not that. Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe can throw the rock, but he can fly. You know what I mean? That kid can straight up burn you. But that is not in Maalik Murphy's repertoire. He does have a cannon arm, though. He will get the ball out. He will get the ball out quick. So with the Quinn injury, they're saying that Quinn is expected to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Now, I did some digging on this injury. He's got an injury with his shoulder, and it's the same injury that your boy has, Anthony Richardson.
It's a different grade. Anthony Richardson had a grade 3 AC joint injury. This is the same injury Quinn Ewers had last year, except on the other shoulder.
On his throwing shoulder.
Correct. Last year when he had this injury against Alabama, it was on his non-throwing shoulder.
But he broke his clavicle last year. He didn't break his clavicle.
It was an AC joint injury.
Okay.
I remember, it was a grade 2 AC joint. It's the same thing, grade 2 AC joint, but it was just the opposite shoulder. Listen, Quinn Ewers' shoulders is made out of cotton balls. Like, literally, like that. It is not a good sign that a quarterback has the same injury on. It's like basically tearing your ACL in both knees. Right? Obviously not as severe because you can come back from it in a couple of weeks. Right. If it's not severe enough, if it's like a grade 2, but yes, this is the same injury to the same arm that Anthony Richardson suffered and had surgery earlier this week to repair.
Right.
Quinn doesn't need surgery. I don't believe they're saying 2 to 3 weeks. I think it'd be foolish for them to rush him back in 2 to 3 weeks.
It's got to be a month. It's got to be a month.
I think it's going to be like more 4 to 6 weeks.
Right. I think
I don't think he comes back until the last game of the season, and that's only if we're in contention for the Big 12 title.
Right. If we're in contention to win the Big 12 championship, right. That is where we see it. Yeah. Now, what's crazy is that I was watching Orange Bloods this morning, and they were saying that there might be some packages for good old
Arch.
It'd be interesting. It's interesting how these injuries work out. This is this is gonna sound really terrible. There's no more of a perfect time for something like this to happen than right now, right?
Agreed.
You got BYU again, did they fight Oklahoma hard? Yes, they sure did. They're not the greatest team. Luckily, they have to come here. The game's going to be playing during the day, so it's going to be hot. It's already cold in Utah. It's cooled off like weeks ago. So like they're gonna be fighting elements. They're gonna be battling. They're probably gonna be cramping. They're gonna be gasping for water. And again, you're like, it's 80 degrees, but 80 degrees in Texas versus Utah is two totally different things. And then on top of that, you're playing on an artificial turf. So when you got that actual turf, you can take it up 20, 30 degrees. So not only are we looking at 80 degrees in the atmosphere, but on top of that turf, you're looking at 100 degrees. So the kids from UT, they're going to be fine. It's going to be just another spring practice day. It's going to be another April, for them. But those guys from BYU, that's going to be something completely different for them. So how do I, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about the injury? How worried are you?
Worried, I'm probably like an 8.
Okay.
And I'm worried because of what I've been seeing from a coaching perspective since Alabama. Sark is starting to really concern me with his play calling and his inability to do what he did the first 2 to 3 weeks is starting to wear on us, 4 or 5, 6 weeks down the road.
Right.
Probably at an 8 right now. It's just so much unknown.
Right. There's a lot of unknowns. Right.
And I think that's the big issue. It's not the fact that it's happened. It's not that I don't believe in Maalik Murphy, right? He's been in the system 3 years now. So it's not the fact that I don't believe in him. It's not the fact that it's just I have trouble understanding this offense and the play calling of this offense underneath Steve Sarkisian. And I don't feel like Steve Sarkisian puts this team in the right place at the right time to make plays. He has so many playmakers, and we don't use half of them.
Yeah, he does.
We don't use them in the run. We should be using Jonathan Brooks and CJ Baxter. But here's the problem: if you use them a lot, you're not using your receivers enough. If you use, Adney Mitchell only got targeted one time.
And that's unacceptable.
That doesn't make any sense to me. And it was a 15-yard. He got targeted on a touchdown. Yeah, his over, and obviously we're not using bets for this, but his over/under for catches last week was 4. He got 1, and he was targeted once or twice, maybe.
Right.
That's unacceptable to me.
Yeah, he's definitely should have had. To me, it goes like this. You got Xavier Worthy should be getting the bulk. Yeah. The next person right up under there should be A.D. Mitchell. After that, Jatavian Sanders. After that, who cares?
Or Jordan Whittington, I guess.
Jordan Whittington. It could be Jordan. It could be Jonte Cook. It doesn't matter at that point. Those 3 people should be your main priorities: Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, Jatavian Sanders.
I would even argue Jatavian Sanders should be 2 on the list, and then you give it to A.D. Mitchell.
No,
because I think A.D. Mitchell can be your red zone guy.
Depending on who you're playing, it don't matter, dog. You can move. Jatavian Sanders is a quality number 2. Quality number 2. I also still believe that Jatavian Sanders is still banged up. I think he's probably healthy now. Sark had a conference last week, said that, or Monday, said that Arch Manning looked really, really good.
He also had a conference today saying that Maalik Murphy has looked really good in practice. Sark says everybody always looks good. I don't think I've ever heard Sark say, "Yeah, that guy looked terrible in practice."
Yeah, you're right. I don't think so either. And I mean that they're not going to do that, right? They're in the business of selling hope, right? So,
right.
That's definitely true. So now you got Maalik Murphy versus BYU. BYU comes in. They're 5-2. They're quiet 5-2. They've had some quality wins. They've beat Who did they beat? They almost beat Oklahoma. They gave Oklahoma a run for their money.
They beat Arkansas.
They beat Arkansas, which was a shocker. I did not expect that.
That was a crazy game. That was a weird game.
Yeah. So, they beat Texas Tech, right? Texas Tech was supposed to be everything is supposed to run through Lubbock, right?
Yep.
They beat Cincinnati. They did beat Cincinnati, and now that game I did watch. Very, very crazy, high scoring game. Came down to the last minute. Same thing with the Arkansas game. They beat Arkansas 38-31. So they're not trash, but they also this will be their first test, I would say. Well, no, I'm sorry. They got thrashed.
I don't think so. They got. This is a very dangerous game to me because
of course, it's basically a redshirt freshman's first start. Absolutely.
I would not be surprised if Texas. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Texas lost this game because this is a team that can air it out. This is not the BYU teams that was beating Tom Herman and Charlie Strong.
Right.
This is a completely different type of BYU team. They're not going to run it a lot. They're going to throw this ball a lot. Right. And these DBs, if they don't get their stuff together, it could be a long day. I don't care if they're playing at home. I don't care if they're playing anywhere. These DBs, this defense has to start to play well. This team is going to start to lean on this defense for support while Quinn is out. And if this defense can't get it together and they don't play well, Texas can lose this game.
Oh yeah, Texas can definitely lose this game. For me, as far as this goes, as far as like what BYU can do, they do throw the ball a lot. They're not good at running the ball. Their leading rusher, LJ Martin, has 430 yards on the season. Keaton Savalas or Solvis, I can't remember how to say his name. He's only got 1,500 yards passing. So yeah, they do have a guy that can throw the ball. He's probably 28 years old because how Mormons get down. They go.
Keaton Slovis went to West Virginia.
Really?
Keaton Slovis guy, he's been in the Big 12 before.
Okay.
He played for West Virginia. I believe it was West Virginia. Keaton Slovis. Was it West Virginia? Oh no, sorry, no, not West Virginia. USC.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember.
Transferred to BYU. Yep, and then he transferred to BYU.
Okay, that's what's up. Again, I don't. Of course, there's an opportunity for BYU to do some different stuff, throw some different things. Again, this is a starting quarterback. He's a redshirt freshman. This will be his first start. He's only thrown 2 passes in his collegiate career. So yeah, I get that. However, what I'm hoping is that what I don't want to happen is I don't want Sark to dumb down the offense. Maalik Murphy and Arch Manning have all practiced with the number ones all season. From what they've been saying, all of those quarterbacks have had the ample opportunity to practice with the number ones. So they should be familiar with everything. Yep. Maalik, number 3, this is what, second year, third year?
Second year. No, is it his third year?
He had the COVID year. That was his freshman year.
Yeah.
So he's technically, yeah. So technically he's a redshirt sophomore. So yeah, he's had the opportunity to really come in here and really just like grasp and get all the knowledge that he can. And I really think that he stayed because Maalik Murphy had the opportunity to dip out. He had a really good spring practice. I had an opportunity to come back, and I really think he stayed because he liked what Sark was doing. And I would not be surprised, and this is just a hot take now, I might change my mind later. I would not be surprised if Sark started him next year as the University of Texas quarterback if Quinn is gone. Now Quinn has a situation where he is out for the season. I definitely see Quinn coming back.
Yeah.
I definitely can see Quinn coming back. And then that's when I think Maalik Murphy would be like, "Hey, I got to get up out of
I
here.
need to do something.
I need to get some playing time."
And I
So that
don't
I
think
can
that's
go down.
any ill will against Stark in that.
No, it's the
situation.
it's the woes of having a massive quarterback room
Yep.
where you've got 4 or 5 recruits coming in here. Because again, remember, Texas got another quarterback earlier this year, 4-star from Louisiana.
Yep.
He's a scrambling quarterback.
Trey somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah, scrambling quarterback. Dude's gonna be in there too. So he's gonna be there next year as well.
Yep.
You know, so that quarterback room is gonna be pretty hefty.
Yep.
Do you happen to have what do you think the score is gonna be?
Oh man, it's so tough.
Based on what you see, what do you think that score is gonna be?
I'm gonna say 35-28 Texas.
35-28. Okay. That's not bad. I definitely think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be more 30-21, 35-21. I can definitely see BYU scoring late. What I feel like is gonna happen is Texas is gonna have that game is gonna piss you off. I'm gonna tell you why. That game is gonna be nothing but running. It ain't gonna be too many. Maybe the first quarter, maybe that first quarter, maybe the beginning of that second quarter, they're gonna build a lead, and then they're running that rock the entire time. It's gonna be rock running and defense the entire time for the rest of that situation. I don't see Maalik Murphy throwing over 200 yards, but I do see a situation where there might be some bubble screens to Jatavian Sanders. I can definitely see a screen going to Xavier Worthy because that's all they like to do with Xavier Worthy to get him going instead of throwing him the deep ball. I actually think Maalik Murphy can throw a better deep ball than Quinn.
I'm very curious to see what that looks like.
I just think he can throw it better than Quinn. The practice that we went to, where we saw Maalik Murphy throwing the rock,
that's practice. That's practice.
I know it's practice, but it looked good. It looked good and it looked in sync. Yeah. So we definitely know that he can throw harder than Quinn. So we don't have to worry about that. But did you have any parting ways before we get up out of here?
Just win, baby. Oh, you just gotta win. I don't at this point right now where we're at. I don't care how pretty or how ugly it looks. We just gotta win, right?
Yeah, and to be fair,
we're in the thick of things. So
we're in the thick of things. We're right there, and just to be fair, like everybody's had a rough game. Oklahoma almost lost the UFC or UCF. Georgia has not been looking too great, even though they've been able to keep on winning. Ohio State, they barely won. They beat a Penn State team by like 5 points. So these teams are not playing great. It's getting colder. Utah thumped USC again. Caleb Williams looks like hot garbage. So we're right there. We got Oregon versus Utah this weekend. That is going to be a very interesting game. To see what Oregon is doing, or to see what Utah is doing with a backup quarterback is
Cam Rising out for the year?
He's out for the year. He's out for the year as of last week. He's out for the year. So shoulder injury is still not all the way there. So I could definitely see see something happening to where if Utah beats Oregon,
I just don't see that happening, man.
Utah's defense is nasty.
Yeah, but Utah's they don't have an offense. That defense is only going to be Utah's defense. They hung in there versus USC. I don't know, man. I think Oregon's offense is a different.
To be fair, USC's offense is probably one of the best offenses out there because of Caleb Williams, but also is detrimental because their defense is hot garbage. They can't stop a leaky faucet, right? So we know what you're going to get and what you're going to get with what you're gonna get and what you're gonna give with USC. They're gonna put points on the board, but they're gonna give up a 20-point lead, right? So it's very, very interesting. But we will definitely let you guys know how we feel. Got some things coming up, brewing up in the next couple weeks. No announcements just yet. Once we finalize everything, we'll definitely let you guys know. Harish, where can they find you at?
You can find me on the Twitterverse at the Uncle Gandhi, also LH Fan Battle, and then you can find me Tuesday nights on the Horseshoe Mob podcast, Boys from the Horseshoe, and then also on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast on Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Central on both.
Right. And you can find me at Tim Wayne on Twitter or Instagram. You want to talk some football, whether it be college pro, you want to talk some trash about Texas, you're an Oklahoma fan, you want to talk trash, cool. You want to talk trash, you're a BYU fan and you want to come and talk trash. I don't know any BYU fans, by the way. I don't know. I've never met a BYU fan, by the way. But you guys are more than welcome to stop by, talk trash. Make sure you guys follow us at Fan Battle Sports. You know, like Harish said, you know, you can find our podcast there. You can also find information about the Longhorns, as well as if you're in the pros. Hey, you're a Texans fan, you need to hit up that AFC South Fan Battle podcast. You're a Colts fan, same thing. Jags fans, Jags looking good. They got a big game this week. A really big statement game. And the Tennessee Titans look like they're selling house. So they look like they're in quarterback.
Well, we always get a chance to take a shot at the Titans. I called this like 2-3 years ago, and I told you, I was like, look, this is all cool and this is pretty. In 2 or 3 years, this team's going to be really bad.
Right. And to be fair, listen, I'm not a Titans fan, or I don't care about the AFC South. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, right? But listen, I will say this: the Tennessee Titans are not going to be anything right. They're not going to be really relevant until they give up the moniker of being the Tennessee Oilers. You got to give that up. You got to give that back to the Texans down there in Houston with C.J. Stroud.
Why?
Let me tell you something. See,
what
because
moniker?
it's only right.
It's their franchise. It's only right. What moniker?
Dude, once you left Houston, you anything associated with Texas is gone. That's out of here.
Right. But the owners own the franchise. It is the same franchise. No.
Nah.
We don't need to get into that. You can go argue with Texans fans about that. I think that's the dumbest thing.
Let the Houston Texans have that. Let them have that color combo. Y'all got to get off the bandwagon. Y'all franchise is ass. It's going to continue to be ass because y'all continue to just run people raggedy and you keep paying Ryan Tannehill. But we're going on a tangent. Make sure you guys just follow us on LA Fan Battle. My man Harish is doing God's work on there. We're providing you with everything that we can. If we got any updates, we'll let you know then. Again, like I said, if you want to talk trash, let me just tell you, the guy behind the keyboard over there, make sure you come with facts. Don't just be coming talking all types of crazy, because he will prove you wrong. So don't come out there half-assing. Make sure that you guys also follow us on the YouTube page, as we are trying to build up a YouTube audience. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us out. Again, if you like us, hit the plus button or hit the thumbs up button. If you love us, follow us. Give us a follow. Drop some comments. We talk back, man. We definitely talk back. So anything else before we get out of here?
I just want to give a quick shout out real quick to another Texas team.
Okay.
Go Rangers, baby. Listen.
Oh, here we go. Wait, to be fair, when do they play? When do they play?
Game 1 is tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, good luck to the Rangers because I'm definitely not cheering for no Astros. So I will jump on the bandwagon for the Rangers to win. I used to cheer for them until they went to the World Series twice and lost back to back. So it was really hard. Yeah,
and
I
then
had
you
to
picked
jump.
up the Red Sox right after that. Wow.
Whoa. Red Sox was always number one, baby. Red Sox number one. Red Sox number one. But yeah, we'll see you later. Y'all be safe out there. If you're running into this rain, hey man, it's a great thing right now.
It is. But be safe.
Trill Gable, guys.
Go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard.